Hello and welcome back to the Renegade Sports Podcast. I'm Jake Gable, right next to Jacob Smedley. We're back after a little bit of a travel hiatus.
Yeah.
But
hope you all had
back.
We've lost on-chair chemistry here, but hope you all had a great Thanksgiving holiday as well in November month.
Yeah. But we're back not only just for the podcast, but we're also back to take a look and reflect on something we did very long ago in basically week 1 of the NFL season. We made a tier list and we have it up right now. It's exactly untouched how it was when we left it, of where we thought teams were going to be. And there's some regrets in there.
Some regrets.
Yeah. And some surprises in there as well.
Yeah. Really have stood out over the past 10, 11 weeks since we last chatted with you all.
So
super excited.
Yeah, we really made this after week 1 and the Thursday night game of week 2. That's all the knowledge we had. I don't think it honestly affected any of my decisions.
Oh, really?
Really?
Yeah.
That one game.
Oh, yes, the one game.
But now, we just had week 13. So week 14 coming up, and some teams have already clinched playoff berths. There's some teams that virtually have. And let's just get into it. So at first, we're going to react. Before we move around, we're going to update the list to what we think it is now. But first, we're going to go in and we will humble ourselves by looking at where we went wrong and what we weren't expecting. So let's go tier by tier. That first tier is the Super Bowl Contenders tier. There's 4 teams, and I only regret putting one of those in that tier.
I agree, Jake.
The San Francisco 49ers.
This season for the 49ers just has been filled with injuries. It's been some, the injuries, I think, is the biggest thing. And, you have Christian McCaffrey was out for so long. I think we even discussed that at the beginning. They had enough talent. We'll see where he goes. Of course, if you watch the fantasy football episode where we talked about not picking him first, very smart choice if you followed through with that. Yeah. But, they get him back. Then he re-aggravates another injury this past week against the Bills. And Brock Purdy hasn't taken the step that I think, 49ers and even NFL fans would think maybe, got to the Super Bowl, would be able to take that next step. But that defense, too, I thought that defense would be one of the best units in the league. It hasn't been that either so far this season. So disappointing.
Yeah, disappointing in really all 3 facets. They've even had Brandon Ayuk out for the season. Debo has been really disappointing.
Yeah.
The defense Nick Bosa's missed some time. I think they'd be doing better if they didn't have so many injuries. So I give them some slack for that. But they've been discombobulated, lost some games they shouldn't have, and have gotten straight up blown out in others, especially by the team in a tier below them. The Buffalo Bills just waxed them in the snow game. What a fun game. Moving on to the division contenders. Maybe
this was a contested spot, Jake, because we had a few of these teams. We'll probably get to those in a few minutes here that we had that were close to that Super Bowl contender.
Yeah, and I think we should have listened to our gut back then, because the Bills and Eagles probably should be in that top tier when we rearrange this. We were right. We were right there. We just weren't ready to fully commit to it. I was actually a little bit less confident than you in the Bills. I was nervous. No Stephon Diggs. The offense might, falter a little bit. They lost some pieces on defense. They look better than last year. They look really good. Eagles Saquon Barkley,
Right,
man.
yeah, I couldn't have I know I was also on the fence here because I know you were bullish on the Eagles at the beginning. I was, hesitant, but I mean, the way he has performed has just raised their ceiling, up to that next level that I didn't expect, a week into the season.
Yeah, and also the defense for the
Mm-hmm.
Eagles
Oh
has
yeah,
been playing so well. I mean, their first two picks, Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell, I don't think they could have hit better
yeah.
home run selections there.
Mm-hmm.
Has really helped the defense. And the signing of Zach Bond to
Yeah.
Eagles look like a completely different team from that collapse at the end of the year. But, we'll move on because the rest is a little shaky. Texans, Packers, I think, were probably accurate. You
Mm-hmm.
might want to move them maybe up or down a slot. I might keep them there, but
Yeah.
the Cowboys and the Bengals. Yikes! Absolutely yikes.
Yeah.
Neither of those teams are going to sniff the playoffs,
Mm-hmm.
and for differing reasons. That's easily the first two biggest mistakes we made.
Yeah, and looking at the Cowboys, I think one of the biggest things we were banking on, similar to the 49ers, is the health. Of course, Dak Prescott going down. Was it week 9, 10? It's
Yeah.
been a few weeks that they've been without him now, and that just looks they played a little bit better in recent weeks, but just the defense at the beginning of the year was just all over the place. They've gotten it together, but yeah, we had higher expectations for the talent with Dak and CD getting paid the way that they did, but we were sorely mistaken, and we're not upset about that.
Yeah, as Eagles fans, I am very happy. And if there was any team I wanted to get wrong, I'm very glad that it was that one. And the Bengals just don't have a defense. Joe Burrow,
yeah.
I think, could be the MVP if he had a defense of like the Eagles, let's say.
Yeah.
Like, he is playing out of his mind. The offense is not the problem. Their defense is just terrible, and they just find ways to lose games. They've just been disappointing and got off to such a slow start and never recovered.
Yeah, you can make the case they have Pro Bowlers at 3 offensive spots with Burrow, with Chase Brown, the way that he's played, Jamar Chase. I mean, you can make that case, and they're a team that's battling for a top 15 pick potentially.
Yeah, I mean, maybe even top 10.
Depending on how. Yeah.
So yeah, very disappointing seasons for Cincinnati and Dallas. Now moving in to the biggest tier, we have the playoff hopefuls. I mean, the Steelers, they're not hopefuls anymore. I think they are truly moving themselves up. They have been great. Who thought that they'd be this good? I mean, hey, Mike Tomlin has never had a losing season. Steelers, I saw this stat, 21 straight seasons without a losing record.
That's remarkable.
Absolutely
Extend the contract
insane.
for Mike Tomlin. Yeah.
And Russell Wilson and Justin Fields have both gotten it done for the Steelers. So, and the defense looks great. So,
They were one team, I know you can go back and check our initial reaction. They were one team, I know we were really on the fence there about playoff hopefuls below 500, looking at kind of the offense defense, but that offense has really exceeded my expectations. We knew what they were kind of bring on that defensive end, the tough-nosed Steelers defense, but Mr. Unlimited, Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, and Najee Harris and Jalen Warren really mixing those two together. George Pickens has played well. Pat Freiermuth as well. I mean, this offense has shown that they can beat other good offenses in this league.
Definitely. The Falcons and Bucs sit next to each other. I think that's actually very accurate right now. Who knows who's going to win that NFC South division? They both sit at 6-6 right now. The Colts right there, they might make the playoffs. Probably not at this point, but I think they deserve to be around that playoff hopeful below 500 tier.
Yeah,
so
I agree. Yeah,
not much wrong there. Same with the Rams.
Yeah.
I probably had them closer to the division contenders than I did below 500, but I think they sit right in that middle there.
Mm-hmm.
The Dolphins have had quite the season because after the first 5 weeks, they looked like first pick hopefuls.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
And now they look more like the playoff hopefuls. The Tua injury, they were just... I think Tua has earned so much respect of how much he means to that offense.
Yeah.
Because they went to one of the worst offenses in the league to one of the best with Tua. And Tua was the only change. I mean, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle were not able to do anything without Tua under center. I think Tua proved to that franchise he's like a true franchise quarterback because you could be hoping for like a Shador Sanders if he never came back this year.
Exactly. And one player, I guess, Jonnu Smith as well, that resurgence that he's had on that team. He's really brought a lot of guys up, at Achane as well in the backfield with Mostert. I mean, they're a team these last few weeks. I mean, they had a rough game on Thanksgiving against the Packers, but one team to kind of look out for vying for that, one of those final wild card spots.
Moving on to my pick for most disappointing team of the season.
Oh, yeah.
The New York Jets. Listen, we had them at playoff hopefuls. They hadn't proven it before. But how do you have Zach Wilson as your quarterback last year? You have Aaron Rodgers now. You trade for Devontae Adams. Hassan Reddick eventually comes back to play for you. You fire your head coach. You fire your GM. And you have gotten worse.
It's
Unbelievable.
incredible.
It's insane how bad they have been this year. Their defense, which we thought was what they'd lean on if Aaron Rodgers turned out to be what he is, and they have regressed. I don't know how, because Sauce Gardner, like, they're not like an old unit. They have Quincy Williams, just regressions in all fronts of the Jets. And now they're hoping for top 5 pick.
Yeah, and it's going to be very interesting to see, going back to focusing on Aaron Rodgers, where they go with him, because there's been rumors and questions, and rightfully so, is, this is last year as a player, and that puts the Jets in such a precarious situation, because you talk about all those moves, Jake, and Aaron Rodgers was the main one orchestrating these trades, these firings, bringing in Devontae Adams, his best buddy from Green Bay, to come in and be that, number one wide receiver when you already had a really good one in Garrett Wilson. It not the sunny days ahead for the Jets. I'll say that for sure.
No, not at all. Now, a couple other teams that underperformed. I actually remember when we were filming, the Bears, Browns, and Jags were 3 teams that took us forever to slot. We were in between below 500 playoff hopefuls, maybe even first pick hopefuls, and we settled on playoff hopefuls. All 3 of them have disappointed.
Yeah.
We should have stuck with the gut. The Bears were the only team here that I can say they had opportunities. They had chances. I mean, the Washington Hail Mary. Oh, my goodness.
That incredible moment. Just on all fronts.
Get to Washington.
Yeah.
Green Bay, they have their kick block. Could have won that game. They lose in overtime to the Lions. There's another game I can't think of off the top of my head.
Was are you talking about the Thanksgiving Day? The
consequential?
Okay.
The game that got Matt Eberflus fired. Caleb Williams, what are you doing? Matt Eberflus, what are you doing? Just not calling a timeout, and also just pretending like you have a minute left on the clock going up there for the snap. I think the Bears have a future, but it just wasn't meant to be this year.
Yeah, I think looking at these 3 now, so you'd say the Bears are most disappointing out of the group of 3? Because, I mean, I think all of them, we could move them down as tier, and we would be fine. That below 500.
Yeah, I think the Bears had the most promise still, like halfway through the season so far, where you could still see a turnaround. The Jags and Browns just came out the gate like, okay, we're wrong. They're 2 of the worst teams in the league.
Yeah.
I mean, Jameis Winston actually has made the Browns better. Deshaun Watson was one of the worst quarterbacks in the league. who knows what they'll do at quarterback there. That'll be really interesting. The Jags have been a mess on all fronts. I know Trevor Lawrence has been in and out of the lineup, but just dumpster fires for the Browns and Jaguars this year.
Yeah, and I guess adding on to that, because we already saw Matt Eberflus gone. With the Jags, I know Doug Peterson, an old friend from Philadelphia, he's been rumored to be on the hot seat, and Kevin Stefanski. One of the two, Jake, out of those two, would you keep either one of them? I think Stefanski has more of a leash just because of the injuries and the previous history. Doug Peterson, there's been injuries, but still, you have a lot of the same guys you started the season with.
This Jaguars team didn't change much besides like a couple of injuries here and there. I don't think they lost players much, but the Browns, man, I feel like it's not Stefanski's fault. I feel like this is a team that just wasn't good on paper, and we thought it was a lot better on paper. All right, moving down to below 500s. There's some mistakes here. Cardinals, I'd say a minor mistake. I think they are playoff hopefuls now, but they've played well. They've been really inconsistent, though. But they're starting to come along under Jonathan Gannon.
Yeah, I think we've seen Kyler Murray and develop that chemistry with Marvin Harrison Jr. and that offense, kind of that run-base offense, run first with James Conner. You work the play action off of it. I think I've been surprised with their defense and how well their defensive has played. I think that was one of the reasons that we put them in that below 500. We knew they had some talent offensively, but that defense still young, a lot of question marks. But they played up to the challenge, and right now we're really in that mix and that tight division. Even going back to the 49ers, even though we want to move them down and they're at the bottom of the division, they're still within 2 games of the top. So there's some stuff that could change, but the Cardinals have been a pleasant surprise. I was like a few weeks ago, wow, they were in first. Oh, they're still in first. This is but a great season for them so far.
Yeah, definitely. Titans, Saints had a 2-week run where we're like, wow, that's going to look very bad. But no, they came back to earth.
Yeah.
Nothing really to say there. The Vikings, possibly, depending on, there's a couple more teams left, but this might be the most surprising team we have here. Sam Darnold has played great. The defense has played great. Kevin O'Connell might be the coach of the year. They've played fantastic. I just didn't see it coming at all. I mean, I know that they had pieces with Justin Jefferson, and I mean, they had some good players on defense, but losing some key pieces, I just did not see this coming at all.
Yeah, me neither. And again, I think Sam Darnold is one of the biggest players to highlight here. I mean, got off to an incredible start. He has kind of cooled off over the past, month and a half, but they've steadied the storm, playing very good complementary football, like a lot of the teams at the top that we discussed earlier. Offense, defense, all helping each other out. And, even without, I think one of the biggest things last year with this team, very reliant on big games from Justin Jefferson. It hasn't been the case this year. They've had Jordan Addison step up, Aaron Jones as a, still, it seems like an ageless wonder in the running back room for them. And
free agent running back signings were great this year.
Exactly.
Aaron Jones, Josh Jacobs, Saquon, Derrick Henry. They've all played great.
Yeah. So, I right now, and we'll go through changing this. This might be one where it's a two-tier difference I'm kind of looking at right now.
Yeah. Seattle, Chargers, those are both teams that are going to move up too, I believe. I mean, the Chargers, let's talk about, because Seattle's kind of the same with the Cardinals for me.
Yeah.
Seattle's been in that playoff before. I think they just have slightly benefited from a weak division this year and also have just slightly improved.
Yeah.
The Chargers, though, look completely different with Jim Harbaugh. I know that was why he was hired. I just didn't expect it to happen this soon. I mean, they look fantastic.
Yeah, and you see, like, one of the biggest things for me is those videos of him pumping up Justin Herbert on the sidelines, getting him ready. But that connection is real, and you see that, of course, the most notable in the league is Mahomes and Andy Reid, the connection that they've built over these Super Bowl runs. But it's real, and both of those guys, love going to the field with one another. And you see that one of the biggest questions was the wide receiver room for this Chargers team. And Ladd McConkey, their draft pick has really started to come on.
Helped a lot.
Yeah, Will Dissly, the tight end, has had some big games. And even though I think there's still a run-first team, the passing options have really stepped up for Justin Herbert.
And one of the best defenses in the league, too.
Yeah.
All right. First pick hopefuls. There's two that are really embarrassing.
Yeah.
The rest, I think, were spot on. The Raiders, the Patriots, the Giants, and Panthers, spot on.
Mm-hmm.
The Broncos and Commanders have absolutely blown away our expectations.
Mm-hmm.
I know the Commanders we fought a little for below 500 first pick, but I didn't think it would make a difference. Oh my goodness. Jaden Daniels and Bo Nix, the two leaders for Offensive Rookie of the Year. They have played fantastic. Both head coaches, Ron Rivera, Sean Payton, have done fantastic jobs. Their
Dan Quinn.
Oh my God, getting
Ron
rid of
Rivera,
Ron Rivera,
yes.
Bringing in Dan Quinn. My apologies, Dan Quinn. He's done a fantastic job. So has the offensive coordinator, Cliff Kingsbury. They've completely turned their franchise around. Forget the past season or two. I mean, these are teams that have gone nowhere in recent years, and all of a sudden, really exciting.
Yeah, and it's the buying in and the leadership from these rookie quarterbacks that I'm so impressed with, and just the way they carry themselves on the field. They're not scared of the moment. They're not, just this, past week with Bo Nix going, toe-to-toe in a shootout with the Browns team that we mentioned, the poise down by, a few points late in the game in a shootout to, putting together drives, go-ahead field goals. And for the Commanders, Jaden Daniels, you see some of these struggles against other good teams like the Eagles, like the Steelers a few weeks ago in the middle of the season, but he's bounced back and his limiting the turnovers. That's one of the biggest things. I think both of us can agree that we see the struggles with young quarterbacks. And, while I think maybe Daniels has done a better job than Nix, both of them make plays, but also know when to throw it out of bounds. So, take a sack and limit turnovers for their teams. And one of the reasons these two teams are really in that playoff position.
All right. So we've reacted, we've reflected, we've confessed our sins. Now it's time to try to make up for it and rearrange them for these last couple of weeks remaining. All right, let's get some changing going now. All right. So we have
start at the top and work down. Is that what we should do? Okay.
So Niners, we got to take out. Are they playoff hopeful or below 500? Because
I don't know.
McCaffrey's now out for the year.
Yeah.
Ayuk's out for the year.
I would put below 500.
I would too. Okay. By the way, with teams like this that might still be here, we'll get to them.
Yeah.
And the left to right doesn't matter. So do we move the Ravens down a tier, or do we keep them there? I still think they could win the Super Bowl, but they haven't been as dominant as I expected.
That's what I'm thinking, because I'm looking at a team right below there that we talked about, the Buffalo Bills. Is there a swap in order where we move?
I think it's definitely a move up.
Yeah, and the Ravens, do we keep them there? Do we do like a swap with the Bills? That's what I want to, because I would be willing to swap, but how much do we exclude for that top echelon? That's, I think, the question.
I also moved the Eagles up there while you're doing that. I think here, I'll move the Ravens over here just to visually show you what we're thinking. These four are safe for the Super Bowl contenders. The Ravens, they just lost to the Eagles. If there was a fifth team here, I think it would be them. But you know what? they might not win their division.
Yeah.
The Steelers might win, so I'm okay with bumping them down.
Okay, yeah.
They can
yeah,
still
that's,
win
yeah.
the Super Bowl,
Mhm.
but they haven't been that top tier
Yeah.
team.
Yeah.
Okay. Texans, I'm fine with.
Yeah. They're not in that upper echelon.
Yeah.
We kind of like glossed over them, but CJ Stroud has been disappointing. So
Yeah.
I mean, he's got to
Sophomore
pick it
slump.
up. Yeah.
Cowboys and Bengals below 500.
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Safe to say.
Mm-hmm. I mean, depending on how bad the rest of the season go, maybe first pick hopeful, but I doubt it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, the division contenders are really cleared out. They really
We'll find
out.
some homes though for some of these other teams,
like playoff hopefuls. Steelers moving up,
yeah,
right with those Ravens. I think if I had to bet today who I think wins the AFC North, I'd bet the Steelers.
Me too. Yeah.
Which is I never thought
they
I'd
do
say
play
that.
the Eagles again. I think they play the Chiefs as well. So the schedule doesn't get any easier, but I would say the Steelers right now and what they've shown.
They beat the Ravens head to head too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right. Falcons, I'm good with there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, technically they're division contenders, but it's the tier that they're in. Do we really see a team from the NFC South making a conference championship game?
Every year.
No. It's the same with the Bucs. They're the same story. Colts, are they a below 500 team, or are they still playoff hopefuls?
They did pick up a big win against New England, who is battling for
by
that
one
number
point.
one by 1 point. It took a late touchdown. I don't know. Anthony Richardson has been playing better. He's still turning the football over. That I would be fine moving them down a tier. I think that's where I'm at. What are your kind of thoughts?
My only thing, technically, they are the first team out of the playoffs. Right?
Okay.
So them and the Dolphins are two closest to passing, but the Broncos, Chargers, and Ravens are the. I don't see any of those teams getting past. Should we move them down?
Yeah.
Right.
Let's move them down. I'm trying to also think these final few weeks of the season how it could play out. How where these teams could trend towards.
Yeah, if the
this
Colts
point.
somehow make it, they're getting creamed in the first round.
Yeah.
So I just don't see it. Rams, they could still win that NFC West. I'm good with them. They could also come in last place. That division is all over the place, but I have more faith in them than the Niners.
Yeah, Matthew Stafford's playing good football, and they got Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua back. It just about consistency week in and week out. I'd keep them in the playoff hopefuls.
So we did just bump the Colts down. I do think the Dolphins are a better football team, but did they dig themselves too much of a hole while Tua was out to call them a playoff hopeful?
I don't know. I'm fine leaving them in a higher tier than the Colts, just because on the talent level, on the base level, like you said, I think they have a better chance because of that offense and getting such a dynamic quarterback back. So I'm fine with leaving it how it is. Playoff hopeful, but they're on that, like edge. I feel like the Colts are more below 500 than the Dolphins. That's where I'm at with that.
I'm good with that. Jets, I'm doing it. First
pick hopefuls. Yeah, get them down there.
Hopeful.
Yeah.
I mean, geez. Bears, they're definitely going down. Are they first pick or just below? I think they're just
below 500. I think, yeah.
All right. The Browns, first pick hopeful.
Yeah.
Man.
Jaguars.
Same thing.
The fall from grace. All of them to the basement.
Yeah, they legitimately might get it. Yeah. So now look at how many teams are below 500 and first pick hopefuls. Obviously, we're going to move some up. Niners, we already moved. So first team we haven't touched. The Cardinals, I think they're a playoff
hopeful. Yeah. Send them up. Send them upstairs.
Titans, are they a first pick hopeful now? Were we a little over-eager on them? I think
we can move them down. Yeah.
Like, nothing exciting.
We are going to be moving a few teams out of that first pick hopeful, so we got to replenish, Jay.
Yeah. Saints, I think they're good where they are. They're not going to get the first pick, but they're not going to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Vikings, hello, division
contender. That's what I would say.
They're 10-2. 10-2.
Second best record in the NFC.
They're tied with the Eagles.
Yeah.
I mean, cannot believe I'm saying those words from
Yeah.
where it was. But shout out the Minnesota Vikings. Really good season so far.
Mm-hmm.
Seahawks, I think we move up a tier.
I think so, yeah. Playoff hopefuls battling for that, division. So that NFC West and NFC South, very similar, where you got, all are like 7-5, 6-6, battling it out. So we're going to see how it turns out.
Very interesting. And in the NFC North, besides the Bears,
yeah.
a juggernaut.
Yeah.
All right, the Chargers. Are they a hopeful or a contender? I could see either.
Yeah. So tough, to judge the divisions in that AFC West, because you have the Chiefs that are just in firm control there. So, but I'd be willing to say on that division contenders, because I do believe they're better than the playoff hopefuls team. Yeah,
because it says division contenders in the tier 2, but technically Falcons and Bucks are division contenders, and we're
taking this on the NBA scale. We're putting the whole conferences together. That's what we're doing here.
Exactly. All right. So now moving down to that first pick hopefuls, I think the Panthers are fine where they are. Same with the Giants.
Mm-hmm. Bryce Young has been playing better though, even though they're down there. He's been playing really good.
I think that, ironically, the benching of Bryce Young and Andy Dalton playing for a few games has helped him out so much. He has looked so much better ever since he's replaced Andy Dalton.
Yeah.
Happy for him,
yeah,
honestly.
exactly.
They look good.
Happy for Panthers fans and that. They've gone through a lot recently.
Broncos. They're at least a playoff hopeful. I think they're a tier below the Chargers.
Okay.
Do you think they're on that tier?
I don't know, because now we're in another debate of these contending teams. I don't know. I do, I guess, give the Chargers the edge. Again, looking at the quarterback position, Herbert has more experience late in the season. Bo Nix is still a rookie, even though he's playing great football. Yeah, I'm fine putting him in playoff hopefuls, but they're, again, right on that fringe.
They might be the best team in playoff hopefuls, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Jets we've already moved from, so the last team really talked about, the Washington Commanders. Are we moving them up 3 spots, 2 spots?
They got off to an incredible start to the season.
I thought they were going to win the division at one point.
Now they've kind of, cooled off a little bit. They did get a good bounce back win this past week.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They destroyed the Vikings.
Yeah. They did lose to the Cowboys. That was a bad loss for this team. Is it playoff hopefuls or division contenders? Because there were some very good teams in that division contenders, but I'm willing to put them there because they've shown me enough. But if they, the next few weeks could decide on that kind of line. Them and the Broncos are right there.
Yeah. Yeah, both of these teams right on top of each other or below. I think they're very similar stories. I think it's just Washington has maybe a little bit of an easier path as well. And I do trust I do trust Jane Daniels a little bit more than Bo Nix. I trust the weapons around him more as well. But I think if I had to say, these two teams right here, the Broncos and Commanders, are the biggest arguments you could make. Maybe the Ravens being in Super Bowl contenders as well. But, all right, we did this last time, and we were like, yep, this looks great.
Yep.
So, just quick recap. In Super Bowl contenders, I think we look good here.
Yeah.
Division contenders, I know we talk Broncos and Commanders, but I think it looks good.
Yeah.
Playoff hopefuls, it's a very mixed bag around that. It's weird.
Leading division, wild card, a lot of
below
500
currently.
Yeah.
But hey, who knows? The Niners cannot believe they're here.
Wow.
They took the biggest fall out of anyone.
Yeah. 3
they
spots.
Were all the way up here.
Oh my goodness.
3 spots, and the Commanders moved more than anyone. 3 spots up. Can't believe that, man. And then I'm calling the below 500 tier the disappointment tier.
Yeah.
I mean, geez.
Like the Colts, the Bears, and the Saints, you can look at it on paper in the beginning of the season, which essentially is where we were kind of judging this from at the start. And be like, okay, we can see that maybe, things go wrong, injuries happen, they can finish in that spot. Coaches firing could see in that spot. But the Bengals, the Cowboys, and the 49ers all really before the season were either picked to, I think, win the division, be it like a top seed, or, at least be in the conversation for the playoffs. It's been shocking.
Yeah, shocking. And then first pick hopefuls, man, the Jets being here, the biggest shock to me.
Mm-hmm.
But, Panthers, Giants, Patriots, Titans. I mean, the Browns and Jags we had a little bit higher, but when I say it shocks me, no, I'm surprised, but
yeah.
These are franchises that have been cursed.
Yeah.
And they've played along with the curse. I think we've done a much better job this time.
Can't wait to revisit this at the end of the season.
Yes. I'd really hope there's not too much more.
Yeah. I think we did a great job on the revision.
Yeah.
We did, and I think we even did a good job in the first. Like some of the stuff we could have not planned those types of changes and just explosions from young teams too. So I think we did a great job.
Implosions from
exactly
contenders from past years.
So I think we did a great job to start, but we made some tweaks, and this is, I think, a great list.
Yeah,
so.
I feel so much more confident now.
Yeah.
But hey, that will do it for this episode. Great to be back. Great to be talking football again. And you know what? We think it's great. Do you think it's great?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think there's going to be changes? I mean, there's still time for someone to make a crazy run at the end, and there's someone that could take a fall from glory. Hey, maybe if somehow the Vikings, the Chargers, the Commanders, Broncos, maybe their luck runs out after having such a good year. It could come crumbling down, but that will do it.
Yeah, let us know, like Jake said in the comments, what you think we did wrong. We think we did pretty good, but let us know what you think. And shorts as well, just like the podcast, haven't been too much of them lately, but check them out on TikTok, Instagram. We'll be posting more soon, some fun games, rankings, and trivia. Keep an eye on the shorts there as well.
And remember to like and subscribe. Follow us here on YouTube. Follow us on TikTok and Instagram as well, like Jacob said. But hey, it will help us out. Ring that bell for more content because it will be coming your way shortly. But now I can say for Jacob Smedley, for Jake Gable, this has been the Renegade Sports Podcast. Thank you guys for listening and watching. Have a great day.